Hey there, Foxine here, and we're back with another episode of Random Tattoo Nonsense. On today's episode, this is not going to be a very nice episode, I guess. I have been told I come off as kind of mean on this subject, but I'm sure as you read on the title, it's So You Want to Be a Tattoo Artist. Well, the first half of this is I'm going to go over absolutely everything that can go wrong. All of the bad stuff, all of the trials, all of the errors, all of the crazy nonsense that is tattooing. And don't worry, I will follow up with kind of like the ending, like the good stuff and everything, because don't get me wrong, I love my job and I love what I do, and the whole community, the art, everything. But tattooing is 100% not for everyone. Not everybody that picks up a machine is a tattoo artist. It's just the harsh reality of it. So a little bit of a disclaimer too. I am not the level 9,000 tattoo wizard. I am not an ink master. I feel like my work is pretty solid, and that's pretty much what any tattoo artist can go for, to say your work is, solid, and, I worked really hard to get to where I'm at. But I am in no way 100% on the top. But, this is still, I'm kind of going to go over what I've been through, my opinions, and kind of what to expect. So my personal journey started off like a lot of people's journeys. I do art all the time. I'm constantly drawing. Growing up, I did a lot of cartoons, furry art, Disney art. I have an affinity for animals. And one day my friends were like, yeah, you do art so well, you should do tattoos. And oddly enough, I hear a lot of people that's how they start, or I have a lot of people who come into the shop and are like, yeah, my friends say my art's really good, and I should do tattoos. I'm like, oh yeah, I started off like that. But you have to really kind of look at your art. And friends and family are biased. They will always be biased. You're going to be their greatest artist. You're going to be their most favorite artist. But you kind of have to look and see, is your art tattoo worthy? I can safely say when I first started, my answer was no. My art, when I first started, it's very much art, but it definitely was not tattooable. Some of the things that you learn within apprenticeship is kind of how to space out your drawings, how to straighten your lines, make them flow better. There's a whole list of things that you kind of have to really take a look at and say, hey, my artistic skill isn't quite where it needs to be. This isn't everybody's case, but it's definitely a stepping stone. I recently came across some of my starting work. When I started, I would tattoo on oranges and grapefruits, and it was a hot mess. It was definitely not great. And it's right now, it's the winter season after Christmas. I've already seen tons and tons of people on my social media feeds of, oh, hey, I got a tattoo machine for Christmas. Who's down for tattoos? And then just all of the stuff that I have to fix following that. I really don't know how to be nice on this subject, and I am doing my very best in this video to be nice about it and to be constructive. And that actually plays a big part in the tattoo community too, is when you're first starting out, you're gonna have to be prepared to be ripped to shreds. And I know in this day and age, it's not very PC. You know, we're told to, you know, encourage our artists and, you know, build each other up, not tear each other down. And I will do that all day, every day for your traditional arts and everything. Tattoo work, not so much. And the reason being is a lot of the times you're going to mess somebody up. When you're first starting and you don't really have any idea how to pull straight lines, or, you know, you're having things too close together, or, you know, you're just pulling it right out of the box with the cheap ink, and, you know, you're not wearing gloves, or you're not wrapping your bottles. Like, there's so much more to tattooing than just, oh, hey, I got this, you know, kit off of Amazon and now let's mess up my buddies. Some more things to keep in mind is supplies are not cheap. You know, your kit comes with all these, you know, little supplies and inks and stuff, but once they're all gone and you're, you know, wanting to do more, that's kind of how they get you. You can, you know, buy them like a few at a time and you spend a couple bucks here and there. But as somebody who does this professionally, a lot of times when I do my supply runs or my supply orders, I am dropping, you know, $200, $300, $400 at a time, just so I can keep up and everything. And a lot of people don't really take that into account, because that goes into your pricing too. Like, our shop has an $80 minimum. That's where we start. And I mean, it covers supplies, and when you think of supplies, not just like needle and tube, but it's needles, it's tubes, it's inks, it's electricity, it's your antiseptics, it's your paper towels, it's your wraps to wrap your equipment, it's your clip cord covers, your grommets, your rubber bands. It's a whole list of supplies that you need to have a, you know, good setup, have a clean setup, have a professional setup. Yeah, it's a lot of things that beginning artists don't think about. And I mean, I'm going to run around in circles on this one because that's how my mind works. But even supplies aside, another thing you need to, in groups that I'm in a few different groups that are starting groups. And just the same thing that I see over and over again is people don't know about like the cleanliness aspect of it. Where's your maticide? You know, wrap your bottles, wrap your machines, wrap your cords. Don't do tattoos on pillows. You know, if, you know, I mean, that's a whole other subject. Like, don't do tattoos in the home. A lot of states have regulations for in-home studios. I mean, it might benefit you to look those up if you are going to go that route, but I will always say don't do that, because you have pets, you have dirty areas, you have it oh gosh, my God. But again, I'm listing all the stuff, all the bad stuff first, so it's just things to take into account. So yeah, you know, you're going to want to make sure everything's clean and cleanly. You know, wrap all your surfaces. Don't use porous surfaces. I'm just a big advocate of don't start tattooing at home. I mean, I'm going to say it until I'm blue in the face, and people are going to just do it anyway because that's what people do. You can't tell me. Yeah, I'm not your mom here. I'm not telling you, but I'm just letting you know a lot of the bad things that can happen. I've had clients come in who've given me horror stories of how their mom got, you know, an in-home tattoo artist, you know, was just, you know, straight out of the box, and they ended up catching hepatitis C because that person was not clean. It's the same kind of concept of sharing needles. Like, anything that you don't wrap and you have your glove with your ink and blood on it and you touch other things, it's cross-contamination. So also one of the things that I tell people when you're first starting out to be a tattoo artist, go get your bloodborne pathogens certificate at the very least, so you can learn about the cross-contamination and wrap all your shit and get all of your, maticide, cavicide, viral side sprays. That's really, like, in a lot of these beginner groups that elder artists are in, they will just rip people up for that. Where are your gloves? Where is your setup wrapped up? That's cross-contamination. And, like, we're not even getting into, like, the art aspect of it. I know I started off with that. But even then, like, I think that has to be, like, the most important thing is to have a clean setup. And, like, if you are going to be that person who starts off at home, like, I mean, that's kind of where I started. And I have so many regrets on the stuff that I did. And I'm so, I guess, lucky that I didn't have any bad stuff happen on the medical side. All right. On the artistic side of beginning tattoos. All right. So you're going to have to be prepared that a lot of your first tattoos on people, if you do not have a proper apprenticeship, you're going to mess people up. I have a hard time talking with some people if they have really bad tattoos. I guess this is a me opinion kind of thing, but I kind of am a little judgy if you've got crappy tattoos. Don't hate me. When I first started tattooing, I jumped the gun a little early. I wasn't able to get a proper apprenticeship, which I will advocate for apprenticeships all day, every day, because the improvement on my work was like 100-fold after I was able to get an apprenticeship and be around other artists. But I messed some people up. I found a lot of the starting tattoos I did on my friends and my neighbors who wanted cheap tattoos, and they were horrible. Like, I cannot stress to you, it's like cringe page worthy horrible. You know those pages where you're like, oh, look at this bad tattoo. I'm pretty sure some of mine are on there. And I know for a fact that even I've seen like a couple of my ex-roommates tattoos come up on people's pages that have been covered up. Like, good for you. I hate like one of my ex-roommates, and I'm not going to get into that. She was something else, but I am so glad she got my crappy work covered up on her, because that was terrible. And you are going to have your friends and family when you first start out be like, oh my gosh, that's so amazing. You should tattoo me. Don't do it. They don't know anything. They think it looks good, and it doesn't. The good news, though, is once you are able to and you get more experience under your belt, you can do those cover-ups. Or if all else fails, that client that you messed up, one of your friends that you did like a whole sleeve of weird wiggly lines that you said, oh, I felt like you needed to have these symbols. You know, that can be lasered off. And I know there's like a big stigma about laser, but I'm actually pro laser. If you're wanting to do like a really nice cover up, or you just don't like your tattoo, check those out. And I'll do a whole other video on that. But yeah, like once you're past that beginning skill level, I've done fixes on my own work. I've done cover-ups on my own work. And for those who were with me at the beginning, like the very, very beginning apprenticeship level, like I've got no problem like hooking you guys up. Please let me fix my work. Please let me fix my work. But hopefully I haven't lost you with all the negative stuff. I mean, I guess that's just like my PTSD with my whole, you know, storyline. But there's way more to my story that I'm not going to get into on this. But yeah, so you want to be a tattoo artist. I definitely recommend starting with your bloodborne pathogens. No matter what state you're in, I think the bare minimum requirement, if I can speak, is your bloodborne pathogens. A lot of states have different rulings about like body art licensing. Here in Colorado, Denver County, Denver City, I think it's just like the county is the only county in Colorado that requires a body art license, which I do have. It's good to have one anyway. Even if you don't work in Denver, you should apply for it. Just so, I mean, it makes it so you're more legit. I mean, you took the time to apply for it, you got it, you know. But in the state of Colorado, I think the minimum requirement is the bloodborne pathogens. Each state has a list of rules for body art. I happen to have the PDF on my phone. It goes through all the rules as far as like owning a shop, having a home studio, being mobile, which I don't recommend being mobile because that's a whole other ballgame, but it's there online for you. I've looked into a couple other different states. I know Utah has a list of rules, and I believe they require body art licensing. There's a couple other states I've looked into, but yeah, just do the research and yeah, at least start right there. The whole second part of doing tattooing, the art part, I guess not really the second part, but just another part of tattooing is developing your art. I draw every single day, whether it's just like a small little doodle or I'm working on like bigger pieces. I have something every single day. And when I'm not drawing, I'm also looking at art. My Instagram is pretty much filled with me following different tattoo artists. I am constantly looking at how artists blend. I'm looking at how their lines are, different line weights, what they do with, you know, their whites, how they do their pepper shading, how they do their blending. I am constantly looking to improve myself. And that's going to be one of the things that you're going to have to be really open to is improving yourself. There's really no stopping point. I mean, it looks like sometimes, you know, artists will have like their set style and everything. Well, yeah, they have their set style, but it's always an improvement game. You can always, you know, change something, do something. Overall, I think I'm just listing out the artist's lament. It's like your next piece will always be your better piece. But it is something to take into account. I remember when I was first starting, one of the artists that I was at the shop that I was apprenticing under, I made some kind of comment about this being kind of like a hobby for me. And I remember him getting so incredibly offended. And now I know why. Tattooing is not a hobby path. I take things really kind of personal. This is my livelihood. This is my life. And if you're going to pursue this as a hobby, you don't really have the opportunity to improve how you'll want. To get better, you have to be doing this at a constant. You have to practice. I think I was told that you have to at least have 100 tattoos under your belt to get rid of your shakes. And a lot of times, if you're doing that as a hobby, if you're wanting to just do tattoos as a hobby, you don't get that just constant practice, and you don't improve very fast. In some of the, so backtrack. This is why I will always recommend doing an apprenticeship, because when I did first start and I was messing up and everything, I only had like a little DVD and what I could find on the internet. And this was like in 2008. and we didn't really have like the big community. It was more so like the apprenticeship. I mean, now we have these communities online where you see these self-taught groups and everything, and yeah, they're good-ish if you're kind of just starting out, but just having that one-on-one with an artist and being able to be hands-on and have them show you, that right there is just invaluable. Like, overall, everybody's journey is going to be different. Everybody's paths to where they need to be are going to be different. So whatever path that you end up in, and if you make it the journey, if you make the journey becoming the tattoo artist that you want to be, I wish you luck. It's very hard. It's hard no matter, where you come from. And I guess what I tell people too, overall, for my like little positive side of it is, don't give up. I mean, if this is what you're gonna want to do, you have to fight for it. You're gonna have to build your clientele. You're gonna have to advertise yourself. You're gonna have to, sell yourself as the artist. It's very doable. My journey took me longer because I had different bumps in my road. I started off, partial apprenticeship. I had to stop because I had my child. And then I took a hiatus for the longest time. My background was in medical. I did that for the longest time. And one day I decided, hey, I would make more money doing tattoos. I want to follow this journey. And it took me in total about 10 years to finally be where I belong. So, I mean, there are artists who get the opportunity to do it faster and are amazing, and they turn up in magazines and Inkmaster and everything. But no matter where your path leads you, if it's something that you're wanting to do, go for it. It just know this is a hard it's like a hard journey for some, and you really have to hustle. But overall, good luck, and I hope this was helpful, and I hope I didn't scare you off too bad, because I've been told I'm really mean about it. But I'll maybe touch more onto my journey in another video as well. But thanks for watching. If you like what you see, just hit like and subscribe, and I'll post more. Bye.